Hi, this is Dodger, and you're watching my show.
Three, two, one, ready, go.
So, funny story. So last night, all of the dudes in the office were having a drunken Street Fighter extravaganza upstairs. They were using the tripod and the nice camera, and now both are mysteriously missing. I think that someone, not naming any names, might have thrown them out the window in a vodka rage. And now everybody's trying to cover it up. It's like a big old conspiracy. Long story short, we're gonna have to use the webcam today. I hope that's cool. I'm just bummed because we have all this really cool stuff to talk about, like really interesting stuff for me. And we're not gonna have that crispness, you know, that sweet, sweet crisp look. It's okay, it's fine. It's fine, we'll work with it. So for our first piece of news, the Pokemon Sun and Moon starters, we now know what their second evolution is going to look like. And a lot of you probably remember way back when we saw what we thought could potentially be the final evolution for the starter Pokemon, and everybody was like, it's not confirmed, but like these look pretty dope, right? I don't know, I don't think that they're really plausible anymore. Just looking at them, you know, except for Poplio. Poplio could totally turn into this like beautiful siren singer, right? Like that seems like that ramp makes sense. Not saying that all of the evolutions always ramp in a way that makes any sense at all, but I would be shocked if Litten turned into this ripped fire cat. I would be cool with it, but I would be very surprised. Same with Rowlet. If Rowlet like went from, oh, I care a lot about my looks and I'm kind of fussy and whatever, like the way that they're painting his personality as he grows, right? If it turned into like this dark Robin Hood type, that would also be confusing for me. So coming at this, not necessarily entirely from a design standpoint, but also from a personality standpoint as they're developing these Pokemon, I don't think that those final forms make sense anymore. But again, Poplio could totally pull this off. Have you guys seen the people who are really upset about Brionne? Brionne is Poplio's second form, and apparently it is far too feminine. It cracks me up because there have always been, like every generation, right? There have always been Pokemon that look more or less effeminate. And in the last couple of generations, they've had a lot of focus on like whether they're male or female and can you like breed them and create new Pokemon, right? Did not change the way that they were designed. Guess what? If they have a skirt and there's a 98% chance that you're gonna get a male when that egg hatches, then you're getting a little dude Pokemon that wears a cute dress and you're gonna deal with it. It just blows my mind when people are like, ew. I don't understand. Like, Brionne is a girl, but it says that there's like an 87% chance that it could be a boy. And it like doesn't make any sense to me. Guess what, guys? They're freaking Pokemon. Anyways. What I'm trying to say is, Pokemon is trying to teach us about gender norms. Moving on, the Outlast 2 demo is out, and it's apparently terrifying, and I'll never touch it at all. When I was on Dropped Frames, we watched a couple of different people play this specific part that's like a huge jump scare, right? Hilarious to watch somebody else experience that. I am super cool. That's why I will watch every single Scary Game Squad episode. Every single one. Am I ever gonna play those games? Heck no. But if you have an Xbox One, a PS4, or a PC, and a lot of us out there have PCs, you will be able to play the demo. You can play the demo right now. Not will be. You can. You can immediately, you know, if you're into that. But you can only download it until November 1st. So just keep that in mind. It's an October thing. What I find to be kind of fascinating about all of this is I feel like all of these horror games are trying to pull information from PT. Like what made PT so successful as just a horror experience, right? Like changing up the atmosphere and changing up the world that you're in while having it be mostly the same and increasing your paranoia and, you know, having a couple of just intense jump scares and then the rest of it is kind of just creepy and eerie, right? And it seems like a lot of games are trying to pull from that in how they present their demos. This one is definitely like that from what I've read. Also, everything that I've seen of the Resident Evil 7 VR demo, as they've changed that up, it's been doing the same sort of a thing where it's like you're in one place and some things change, but you're still in that one place Like, what are you trying to achieve? It's not super clear. It's interesting seeing how PT, despite the fact that it was only available to us for a short amount of time, it's interesting to see how much it's already affected the way that horror games try to pull you into their world ahead of time before you've ever even touched the actual game, right? And in most cases, it's seeming like none of these experiences are anything like what the actual game is going to be. It's just, like I said, it's just trying to sort of pull you into the mindset that it wants you to be in before you play it. And I think that that's just fascinating. I love the more that we see when it's so tangible, when it's so obvious, the way that one game has affected a bunch of games that come after it. Like, we are in that right now, and I love it. The No Man's Sky Reddit community shut down for like a hot minute. You know, this game is fascinating because I don't want to say that it's been entirely a toxic experience community-wise, but whoo boy, have they created like a complete persona for like anybody who really loves this game now has all kinds of connotations attached to them. Basically, suddenly the big subreddit that is like the No Man's Sky subreddit, it just vanished. It just like disappeared. Why, you ask? Because the community was too toxic, and they thought if they shut it down and then got new people in charge and like revamped the whole thing, apparently, then it would help. It would help with the community and help everybody respect each other more. But they went about it in a way where they didn't communicate with the community at all. So rather than sort of showing the same trust that they are trying to receive, they just shut it all down. They had like a big meeting. All of the moderators of the subreddit had a big meeting, apparently, and decided it was the best thing to do. But it came back. Things have been building for ages around here, guys. Yesterday morning, I got on Discord and organized a State of the Subreddit talk between all of the moderators. It occurred at 8 p.m. EST. Rouge didn't go rogue and decide this alone. We all sat down on the Discord mod chat last night and talked for 2 hours over voice to make the decision. In the end, it was more or less split between a clean wipe and mod-approved posting only. We held votes, posted other opinions, discussed. By the end of it, it was myself, Rouge Wolf, and SDJ67. We gave our positions, and Rouge, being in control of the sub itself, said he'd decide by the end of the night. And that was it. This was all agreed, course of action if decided. The admins did not seize the subreddit. Rouge reached out to them because the next owner of the subreddit under him, if he removed himself, was an inactive mod. He wanted someone more dedicated to control things. I don't understand. I don't understand what happened here. Because if they just wanted somebody else to take control, did they need to shut it? Like, did they need to literally close it and then bring it back up in order to swap mods? That's not how Reddit works, right? Like I was saying, you know, when I was over here, this is the exact sort of behavior that winds up contributing to this persona, this idea of a person who is so dramatic and cynical about this game that they do extreme things, right? Like death threats when a journalist dares to say that the game might be out a little bit late. Are there things to complain about in this game? Absolutely. There are entire posts that are just big lists of things that they were promised or things that were expressed as being part of the final game that do not exist, that are not part of the game, right? Like there are, in the United Kingdom, I think they're actually investigating the development of this game because they believe that potentially, you know, this was a form of fraud to say, this is the game we're making, and then that wasn't the game that people got. Just the way that the community acts about this game, the sort of like intense favoritism while at the same time just being so negative, I don't know. It's not like anything I've ever seen before, and it baffles me. Like, if you want to defend the game, if you had a great time with it, that's totally fine. If you didn't enjoy it and you got your money back, then that's also fine. It just baffles me how people are unable to move on, right? Like, so many people contributed a lot of emotional investment into this game, and then it wound up not being what they wanted, and they can't quite let go. And I think we're seeing a lot of the fallout of that, unfortunately. Five Nights at Freddy's was almost delayed because apparently the game is going to be too intense, too spoopy. Look, I don't know how Five Nights at Freddy's is still a thing, but it is. It's a very popular thing that people still love, so power to them. Keep making games, I don't care. This most recent one is called Sister Location, and it was supposed to come out on October 7th, and it did. But originally, the creator, well, hold on, I'll just read it to you. Hey guys, I wanted to post an announcement that this game might be postponed, and I'm not really sure when it would be released. There are certain plot elements that are very dark, to the point where I sometimes feel sick. There would be no easy fix to this. I either release it Friday as it is, or I delay it by several months to completely rework the plot into something kid-friendly. I'm unsure what I'm gonna do. As always, thanks for your support. Now, if you're me, that sounds like some straight up promotional bullshit. Like if I wanted people to be like, ooh, my goodness, well, it might be so scary that it makes you feel sick to your stomach. Oh, I gotta play that, right? This sounds like promo material for sure. Because in the end, he was like, just kidding. Here, take the game. So it seems very weird. It seems like part of the campaign of this whole thing. Like, is it I don't know. But it baffles me how a lot of parents, I promise that this will like double back and make sense. It baffles me how so many parents are coming to the defense of these games, being like, well, you know, my kids won't be able to play it unless he makes it more kid-friendly, so I hope he takes his time. And I'm like, you've been letting your little babby children play Five Nights at Freddy's? Why? Guys, it's October. This is when horror games come out. He decided to release this game in October when horror games come out, and then was like, I don't know if I should release this because it's looking like it might be a horror game. It's a troll. It's gotta be. Like, that was publicity stunt. I'm calling it. Like, this is no. Like, no. I refuse to believe that that's an actual thing. Okay, now let's talk about a couple of Overwatch things that I'm so excited about. One of them is the title of this video. One of the major reasons that you're probably here. Guess what? It's gonna be the last thing I talk about because that's what I always like to do, and it's so fun that way. I'm like whetting your appetite. I'm like that horrible news channel that you would turn to that's like, we're gonna talk about those puppies, those really cute puppies. But first, let's look at the weather. Okay, so first thing is talking about Halloween loot boxes because people were very unhappy with how the Summer Games loot boxes went, so everything looks like it's being adjusted for the Halloween loot boxes. I am so excited for them. I want all of the Halloween things, and guess what? It seems like it might be a bit easier for me to actually get them. So with the Summer Games loot boxes, what went wrong was that you could get multiples of the same item, the same like Summer Game specific item, and then just like with any other piece of loot, it would turn into currency. The problem was you couldn't use currency to buy any of the actual Summer Game stuff, right? So say that I had 2 of the Lucio skin and one of them turned into coins. It's not like I could use those coins to buy the Tracer skin. I would have to just hope that I don't keep getting duplicates or that eventually I open a loot box that has it. A lot of people thought that that just didn't make a whole lot of sense. It wasn't contributing to the like Overwatch economy in a way that made any sense at all. So it looks like they've switched it up. Trick out your collection by picking up Halloween loot boxes available for a limited time. Every loot box contains up to 4 cosmetic items, including at least 1 Halloween skin, highlight intro, emote, victory pose, player icon, voice line, or credits that you can use to unlock other items. More than 100 Halloween items are waiting to be unwrapped. If your Halloween loot box contains an item that is already in your collection, you will instead receive coins. Now I know that in this whole quote, it says use your credits to get other items, and that could mean anything. That doesn't necessarily mean Halloween items, but I don't think that they would focus on that if that wasn't the case. Does that make sense? Like, why would they say, oh, you can use your credits to buy items while talking about the Halloween stuff if that didn't apply to the Halloween stuff, right? I think that they're changing stuff up here. I also like that every loot box is going to have these things. It looks like you are still going to get duplicates of stuff, which is fine. That just contributes to your currency, right? But it would be awesome if it did turn out that you could buy the Halloween items that you wanted. Okay, now let's talk about the thing that y'all really want to talk about. Y'all want to talk about Sombra! What? Now, this is a leak that has not been confirmed. Blizzard really hates commenting on leaks. They normally just try to, like, get rid of it as soon as possible. But if this is the way that Sombra looks, that's awesome. We've been working on this ARG for so long to the point where people are just sick of it. Like, they're just like, just show us Sombra. Like, we just want to see Sombra, come on. I love that design. I think that it's fantastic. And the only thing really that we still have no information on at all is her kit. Because in this picture, it looks like she's holding like an Uzi, ? We know that she is very much a subterfuge character, a hacker as well. So how do you utilize those things in a game like Overwatch? That's what people are now speculating really hard on. One of the reasons that I find this really credible is that a lot of people have tried to trace where that image originally came from, and it looks like it's being confirmed from multiple sources that it came from Blizzard. It just disappeared immediately, right? So, if that's true, dude, she looks rad. I'm in. Let's do this. And I don't know if it's confirmed or not. Is it confirmed that she's supposed to be officially revealed when the Halloween event starts? Or is it just that people are kind of assuming that because the ARG is coming to a close? I don't know. Either way, I'll be delighted once we find out what kind of a player she is. We don't know if she's defensive or she's not going to be a support because they just released Ana. Ana is a support. So we know she's not a support. Is she going to be defensive? She's not going to be a tank. You know, I would assume that she'll be a defensive play, but I don't know. Nobody really knows. Nobody really has any idea what her kit's going to be. So we'll just have to see. But it's really, really cool finally getting to see what looks to be a very plausible design for her, and I love it. Anywho, that's been my show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a positive or a negative response, feel free to leave it in my comment section. And if you would like to watch my Twitch streams, you can find them at twitch.tv/dexterity bonus. I stream like 5-ish days a week. We do have more Backstage Pass coming. I'm so sorry that that's taken so long. And I'm also working on a Halloween Welcome to the Fandom that I'm very, very excited about. So keep an eye out for that. And just generally take care of yourself and have a fantastic day. Okay? Awesome. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, guys. Mwah. Ew. I don't understand.